poisoning me with its psychopathic purple liquid, because I am a monster!
Welcome to the NodCast, episode 16 already. Episode 16. Tonight, our special guest, our interview will be with Kryss. This is a browser game god, as you know, and I believe you can see. Can everybody see Kryss okay? Looks good to me. How are you, Kryss?
I'm doing alright, all things considered, so I'm really looking at this. Like I said, I'm sure people will have fun with it. I might too.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Spaceman.
No problem.
So, again, this is episode 16, and we'll ask Kryss all the regular questions we ask all the no-dietants here. So, well, why don't you start, Kryss, with telling us a little bit about yourself? I'm sure people would like to hear that.
I'm just reading the feedback about my video lag. Can't be helped. This is a crappy 2014 MacBook Air. Hardware is definitely lagging here. What did you say? You just wanted to tell me a little bit about where I am in game or what?
Yeah. How long have you been playing?
Yeah. So I first created the Kryss account in 2010, actually. So that's when I first heard about it. I wasn't paid at the time. I made a couple attempts. If you look at my catalog in like 2015 and 2020, I think I really started playing in like the latter part of 2021.
So it sounds like you took a little break, kind of like a lot of us would.
I've been playing like essentially like 3.5 years of like actual playing with upgrades and stuff. Oh boy, this.
All right, and we all know you have more than one tune. How many tunes do you have?
Sorry, I had to close the Discord. Hopefully it helps a lot. I have essentially 4 level 90s, and then I had an 86 that essentially I just got rid of recently. I finished these through clan battles. As I had mentioned, my computer setup is pretty bad, way worse than I think people expect, given how much I play and how many characters I play. It's not really feasible for me to play all 4 at once even, so I might even just go down to 3 eventually.
That's fair. So it's a lot of characters to maintain, and one of the things I tell a lot of people is you don't want to make it feel like a chore burning rested time.
Yeah, so the other thing you have to think about too, right, is obviously Kryss has, full T9, etc., but the rest of them still have, a couple billion each or whatever you can do, right? So if you're just burning like daily rest time even, you're getting like let's say 5 hours a day, keep it easy. You're getting, 70% of a TC, etc. a day. It takes a long time to pay for like you said, like I said, a couple billion worth of gear each. On just like zero point 0.7 TCs a day. So if you're not burning TCs, you actually have to start questioning how much is this worth it. Fortunately for me, I'm chronically indecisive, so getting to experiment with new builds and other stuff has some value to me beyond just the money. But financially speaking, also especially tiered past a certain point, don't always make a ton of sense. Definitely something people need to consider. But anyway.
No, that's well said. Well, having more than one tune's always good if they're making money, right? They're like little. Someone described them to me as printing presses.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, like I'll be the first to say I've gotten my share of money in this game, but not in a while. Most of my upgrades have been paid for, especially when missions are on. I had up to 3 gatherers at a time, resourcing like crazy, and that's what paid for most of my stuff. So, all's for the win in that sense. I've already got my money's worth out of them, even if they don't play again.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong having more than one character. All right. So let's move on, and then let's get to the good stuff. So, do you think I copied Gracie's build for the arena?
I mean, you said when you were re-rolling to do her build. I mean, just say thing. I would say the answer to that is largely yes. I think you did it better in the sense that you will never see pretty much Gracie with 5 auras out on the bar, which just absolutely kills her. Like, you actually made an effort to play the build. Like, in my mind, that's already step above. But like you said at first, you went to do, and in my mind, you succeeded. I also don't think that there's like inherently, like we talk about copying builds, and I think to some extent, some level of independent thinking is important, but also like you can't really lay claim to the idea. Like, I wasn't the first person to use regen, obviously.
Yeah, there's.
So you can't lay claim to an idea. But in my mind, like you said, you were going to setting a copy. You cited her as an inspiration when you re-rolled the Arcanist. In my mind, you copied, slightly improved, and obviously succeeded with it. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, what I did was I looked at a build that had potential, or that I thought had potential, and I made what I thought were improvements on it. Some of that being running more darings, and I mean, there's a multiple of things.
Yeah, I mean, so like here's.
I respect Gracie, and what you could say is I made a modified version of what I thought was necessary to succeed. That I think really, dude, that made all the difference in the finals was the ability to run darings, and I mean,
I would say that you got to 3rd place based on the fact that you're taunting. Like, the huge difference between you and me, obviously, is you're taunting, I'm not, means your teammates are staying alive. That was kind of a conscious decision on my part for a couple of reasons. One, expediency.
What made you not, like, if you knew that we were running darings, what made you say this probably?
Yeah, it's a valid question, right? Glitch tried that same sort of gotcha on me. I'd say there are a couple things. One, I don't have darings here. I obviously could have made them. I'm definitely not poor enough that like spending 80 million gems would have been a hardship, but I didn't have them to start with, so it would have required some change. Two, I think that this is kind of a philosophical thing, and I would say that I picked this. Obviously, everyone heard exactly what I thought of that whole season, right? In my frustration with being teamed with people I didn't feel were living up to their potential, carrying their share of water, right? So obviously, everyone heard that. I would say my feeling on taunts, especially as a caster, is essentially you making a slight compromise to your own build to sort of reduce your reliance on your teammates. Um, because you're essentially saying, you have T9 gear, 50%, 52% epic health. You can trust yourself a lot more than the majority of people you're going to randomly roll. So essentially taunting and saying, I'm going to waste one slot on my bar or whatever to essentially ensure that I'm front and center instead of these random teammates who
Yeah, I mean,
feel
it's
as.
almost something that a pure tank would do, but not quite as well. Not nearly as well.
So I would say that this is sort of a me philosophically saying,
Fucking tomatoes, man.
I don't want to say fuck you guys, but like, I'm not going to make myself worse just because you guys aren't better. And obviously, I'd say that's a conscious choice, a sort of philosophical choice. Kind of, I would say, on brand for me and being slightly arrogant, obnoxiously put, maybe. But like I said, I intentionally knew I was limiting myself. I was not surprised to see me trailing both you and Gracie, even though I said and still feel confident that, like, the same build, obviously, I expect to outplay with.
Well, the
One
build that you
other
have now,
other one-on-one.
the build that you ran last season, and the build that you still have, I presume, is more viable this season because
Yeah, for sure, 100%.
I'm looking at the gems, and they're telling me that black gems hit harder, but it's a slightly longer time span. But I'm pretty sure they hit harder. And
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was running heals. I'm running white DOTs that, in nature, at their core, don't hit as hard. And
Yeah, so
that's why.
just real quick, I want to say, like, I was running between 4 and 7 heals most seasons, so I made some concession. But I think that taunting is essentially saying, you can have these teammates who can die in one hit. You're not going to out heal that. Taunts are kind of important. So
you could
I just want to say that, like,
changes.
I thought that, I was not surprised to be behind. But, like, touching your comment, if we look at the tournament, like, there end up being 10 shield tanks, and then Nico, who's, functions as a quasi-tank, right? So we had, like, 11 tanks or whatever. Essentially, it was a staff dot's wet dream or whatever. Every staff dot on that field, there were 4 of us. We all went positive. You went 8-2, I went 7-3. Gracie and Ash both went 6-4.
No, I faced a team with 3 tanks once. I mean,
honestly, but, like, that's good for you, because, like, you can't do actual DPS.
well,
So
it'd be good for all of us, right? I mean, it'd be good for you.
yeah, like, I faced I think I faced 3 tanks. I won with. I went 7-3, like I said. The difference between us was when we faced each other. You had Ash and MPF, and I had Austin and Rip, and like.
Yeah. So we had 2 dots.
That's like white and 2 dots.
Yeah.
Versus. So yeah. So I think it's essentially there, and like I said, Ash and Gracie both went 6-4. So like I said, I think tournament, it just came down to everyone could see 11 shields or whatever, no AoE essentially. That everyone knew Dot was going to perform well. I probably didn't. I didn't take enough account for that.
Because if you now you can cross taunt with the tanks. I can obviously take some damage for a second, and now I'm cross taunting Darings, and but all that
Maybe
has changed now. I can't run the same setup this season. I can't run white
and I'm
DOT
playing.
gems. But I did want to see how far I could get, before I built a new gem pouch, which is almost completed. But I'm obviously transitioning to black DOTs, epics, and whatever the best you can get. And I mean,
I think it'll be more interesting to see. I think you can make. I think black is going to be better just because even if they keep on flap up, etc., it's still just significantly more DPS. But the thing you can get away with whites because they are lower casting cost. It's a lot more feasible to run. Potentially you can change your energy pool size, but it's a lot easier to run overburn, etc. At a high level. Like right now, I have I think 66 overburn, and I might play around leveling more. I very rarely have to use my class ability at this point, so there's definitely still some room.
Well, you
But
have
I think
a
you
long
can
way
make
to
the
go.
case.
It's only
Yes, I
day
know. That's the
4,
thing.
day 5.
Also, can't really judge the season by early results because,
No,
like,
you can't. Look at last
here's
season.
the thing. Here's the. I mean, but like, even besides that, I mean, I think people are going to change. But like, here's the one big difference anyway. Like, right now, pretty much no one except for Rip, which he's sold out already. Pretty much
Who's
maxed
that?
out.
Who's
Is
that?
Rip. Pretty much no one else is running defensive potions right now, right? So no one else is running stone pro. You're not. I'm not running stone pro. Maybe you are.
Yeah, I run them.
I'm
I run
running
whatever I
midi.
can.
So, but like my point is, so if everyone's running the potions they used to farm, which are going to be general DPS, not defensive, the fights are going to be shorter. So I could right now probably get away with smaller energy pool, less physical stamina, etc., etc. I may or may not be able to get away with that. So I'm going to have to evolve somewhat later on. I know that. So for the most part, I'm reasonably happy with my results, but not trying to be too much into it. So we'll see.
Well, that's all you can do. I mean, you gotta do the best you can do, and
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be an interesting season myself. It's very early to tell. It's way too early to tell anything.
I mean,
looking at last season,
we'll see who
much
comes in. Yeah.
You had the same people sitting on top for all season long. I think sometimes
We'll
people
see.
get complacent.
We'll see. I just, in general,
Like in this game,
we'll see. Again, we'll
you
see.
gotta be willing to change your build. You can't. People tend to get. People like to get stuck on a certain build or a certain way of doing things, and nobody likes change. But sometimes you gotta change your build to improvise, because you gotta. In the end, you're playing to win, and if it means changing a build, it means changing a build. If it means improving on a build, it means improving on a build. So.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me with this season is I just don't actually know like who intends to show up. Like Ricky is gonna do his thing. I assume at some point he's gonna make a play for it because I just can't imagine him bothering to play the game and not, actually making a push. But thus far he's still, farming with this combo set. He hasn't really invested in PvP at all. He's got his own alts. So it's unclear at what point he decides to, really enter this whatever build he thinks gives him the best chance to win.
Who are you talking about?
That's
Rick?
like awesome. So like I just genuinely like the only people I genuinely know, like I know you're gonna show up and compete. I know BP's been the same build forever. He's gonna compete with what he's got. I know I'm gonna compete with, like I said, more or less obviously my build. I know Ash eventually will make a play, though he's kind of gone slightly MIA after being, just incredibly busy last month. But, like, I don't really know. Essentially, the only people, like, I feel confident are going to actually show up and put their hat into the ring are all the staff dots. And that's slightly boring. So, I would kind of like to see, like, when are we going to get some of the werewolves? When are we going to get a prowler who actually is, like, paying attention to PvP and is actually like investing in that? When are we going to get slightly more diversity, etc.?
That'll all happen in good time.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That's yeah. Like I said, I think eventually at some point, I can't imagine we get to the end of the season and it's just 4 staff dots staring at each other. Someone else is going to make a play, but until they do, it's slightly monotonous. That's no matter.
So you won't say I copied anybody anymore, Kryss? Are we good? Or what?
Finally, in the past, I'm still gonna, the one time you made the mistake telling me that I had no chance against you one-on-one, I'm fine leaving that in the past too.
So when I make my new build and I beat you this season, like I plan on doing,
And that's
are you gonna
play.
exist?
Fair play. Like, if I get outplayed, look, here's the thing. I talk a lot of shit. I talk a lot of shit. I also know that means I'm ready to check for myself, and if I can't catch it, then I'm prepared to eat shit too. So, like, if you outplay me, if Ash outplays me, etc., I'm prepared to eat shit.
Well, I had to call you
Well,
out.
I welcome
Man.
the
I had to call you out, man.
I welcome.
You were talking yesterday on chat, dude.
No.
But
Like you
I forgive
said,
you.
yeah. No, I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm fully prepared to eat shit, and it would be too arrogant even for me to say that someone else can't outplay me. I by no means think I'm the best player
Hey,
at this game.
I've been outplayed, Kryss. I've been beaten.
Yeah. So, like, here's the thing. Like,
How
if
many
it
times
happens,
has Wolfpack fucking won the championship? It happens. I knew I had a low chance of winning, but I knew I had a chance. And it paid off. I re-rolled I never played a caster before. I re-rolled the beginning of the season and got like 102 billion experience and sent the shit. I had a plan. I knew I'd be up there with the tanks, and it worked out somehow. How? I don't know. Call it luck. Call it what you want. But I'm just saying, we've both been there. We haven't won.
no, like, here's the thing. Here's the other thing I'm gonna say. Results matter a lot to me. Like, I'm always going to, try to say, whether or not I think what should have happened. If you get the results, I have no choice but to respect that. So,
Yeah.
whatever happened, you got the results. I think Wrath and I have butted heads a few times. I think Wrath and I have some amount of respect for each other's ability and find each other, slightly tedious on a personal level, perhaps. At times, but we have that respect because, like I said,
Well,
I have
it
to
goes a
respect.
long way. And,
Got
we're
results.
all no dietins.
Yeah, so, like, that's the thing. Like, you got the result last season that obviously I would have loved to have. If you get it again this season, I'm gonna have to deal with that. I fully intend to make sure it doesn't happen. I fully intend to put my best foot.
That's the nature of the game. You're going to do everything you can to stop me, and I'm going to do everything to use you. And if you win, dude, if you win this season, Kryss, I'll respect that. It's just is what it is.
So we'll see. So I'm prepared to move forward. So I will.
Well, you never know.
And keep my mouth shut because we all know that's not going to happen. But I will.
That's what I said.
A little bit.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. I'm sorry I'm not reading chat, guys. We're having a pretty good conversation here. But I missed a lot of chat. I love you all, though. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for your time watching this. But what I wanted to say is that it's important for all no dietins to get along somewhat. Because we're no dietins. And this is our game. And we play every day. And I think that's important. I've said that in the past. Like I said, we got a really good community, and I hope it stays like that. And I'm sure you could agree with that, right, Kryss? Who's throwing those goddamn tomatoes?
I will say one thing. Obviously, it doesn't fully help me because, I have a werewolf who uses pukes. I have to go. But the one nice thing for everyone to think about it, if you do go, okay, I see just stat. You don't need to go in really. A plus the build. So,
I'm listening to you. I'm just checking the chat, Kryss.
And no worries. I had to close Discord because I think that was partly what was causing the feedback and the lag. So one does.
Can you say that one more time?
I had to close your Twitch stream or whatever.
Oh, you gotta go?
No, I had to close the Twitch stream, so I'm not seeing the Twitch chat.
Oh, that's fine.
So, if someone does want to get a hold of me or whatever, PM me on Discord or whatever. Yes, more or less. Yes. Or else Eric will let me know if someone has.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got a lot of things to cover. This interview is just the first part. We got to talk about the princess. Have you done any research on that, Kryss?
I have literally no idea. You said for the first time, you said something to the princess, and apparently Tippy said something. I have no idea what you're referring to there.
Well, I've been investigating the matter for quite some time now.
Okay, well that is all news. I will, stay out of that conversation and just listen. Well, I have nothing off.
We're going to take a short break. You just hang tight, Kryss. You're good. I'm going to change the scene. I'm going to show you guys a couple things. I'd like to show you. I'm promoting the Factor meal. It's like HelloFresh. They asked me to do a little promotion for them. So we're going to get that done. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back What more?
Loki. Loki. Hey, buddy.
I must have thought I was in a dream, heir to the only and most powerful throne, now in a mule-drawn carriage, bouncing through a forest of giant toadstools. We were told the air in this forest was fatal if breathed, but I had not yet died from the foul stench. I was met by my father and his royal guard in Far, a secret establishment of my father's, set aside for such an occasion. He told me we would be safe here, but his white face and distant eyes told another story. We spent several weeks that felt like years, as my father would often be heard yelling, if not killing messengers, bringing him ever worsening news of the state of his kingdom. I must have thought I was in a dream, heir to the only and most powerful throne, now in a mule-drawn carriage, bouncing through a forest of giant toadstools. We were told the air in this forest was fatal if breathed, but I had not yet died from the foul stench. I was met by my father.
There's only the never-ending spit and pile of combat, the 24-hour murder spree of shining.
Alright, welcome back. Welcome back after that short break. Kryss, how you doing? How was your break?
Doing good. I had a request to see. I have 3 cats. I managed to track one of them down. Well, I had 3 cats. The one whose fails picture actually, unfortunately, passed away and thus earned custom. This is one of the 2 surviving cats. So,
Well, it's
I had a
nice looking
request.
cat.
This is Colt, and his brother is being uncooperative, and so is he now. So, anyway, back to that brief experience.
We have a dog and 1 cat. But they're not in here right now. They tend to get in the way. But no, it's a nice looking cat. So I showed you guys a little bit of that princess stuff. I don't know if you read it or not. There's a ongoing investigation with that. There's a few things I'd like to talk about. So, okay. First of all, I remember back in the day, the princess icons in each town? I remember them being in every town. That being said, That's not the case now. But what I did was I went to each town and I made a recording of her talking, and I combined them. Well, I'm in the process of combining them to make one video, so it's not just a bunch of clips. And really listening to what she's saying and trying to find any kind of clue you can out of that. So you combine that. I don't know if I wrote this on this paper or not. You combine that with rumors of her being where you would least expect to find her. Have you heard that, Kryss?
Like I said, this is literally all new to me. I have not really been consistently tuning in, so anything you've shared in the past, I can just safely assume is completely.
So
Please.
So you got those two things I think are weird. And then, I believe Glitch had to come on the stream, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and gave us some, I would say, sensitive information. So, this investigation is not done. I am investigating this right now. I'm making a video. I'm rewatching and listening to what she's saying. I would like to think there's some sort of chronological order to the stories that not necessarily go by the town order, if you know what I mean. The first part of the story might not be in Castile. It may be very well in Dreville or such. But getting all the clips together is number one. Listening to them, number two. And then formulating some sort of theory with already known knowledge. And maybe a little secondhand knowledge in there, circumstantial, to provide the best theories possible. And that's all of this is going to be disclosed on another stream, because I'm not prepared to do all that right now. I'd like to make that video first. That's important to me, so I could share it with you guys all in one session. And I think it's fun searching for the princess. You really never know. I think it may have something to do with ladybugs. Honestly, that could be a clue. And it's the small things you really have to look at. So the next stream, I'm going to do a bonus stream. It's not going to be on NodCast. It'll be probably sometime this week. It's going to take me a couple days to organize this bonus stream. That's going to really lay out some actual theories of where she is or where she might be. So I look forward to doing that. I think that kind of stuff is fun. And maybe, hopefully, one of us will find her, right? So, that being said, I don't know. Do you have anything else to say, Kryss? Do you have anything that you want?
The people know?
Yeah. Do you have anything you want the people to know? No one's ever seen you, heard you before on live television. What do you have to say?
I mean, like I said, I feel like a lot of people have opinions of me. I'm not out here to change those opinions, but like, just feel free to let me know. I'm excited to do this so people can put a face and post into probably the loudest mouth running in Nod Chat. So you all have that context. Feel free to make any decisions you want from that. And
Oh, Billy had you beat.
okay, loudest mouth, who's still to this day able to participate in Nod Chat. So they're a lot of personalities, but talk a fair amount of shit. I know that. So I know a lot of people have very mixed to polarizing opinions about me. So now you all have all the context you need to hopefully make an informed opinion. So I don't really have anything else to add. This was more fun than I was expecting.
Oh, of course.
Shout out to Derek for putting up my appearance fee. Posted it. Everyone's first
really?
I mean, To be honest, like I said, I knew I talked it at you. I figured you were gonna have some shit talk back, and I was like, that's his right. So I figured there's a decent chance that this was gonna, potentially either just, fizzle out into nothing. I might just not say, or it's going to, fizzle out into something worse than nothing. So I'm like, I might as well make sure that I'm getting something for my time.
Thank you guys for the follow.
So everyone, go support Nod Tools. They're putting on service here.
You know who the top subscriber is, the Nod Tools?
I heard it's you, and then I heard it's Austin.
That's what I use from this to help out. I really like Nod Tools, and if you ask me,
It's a great resource.
He deserves a lot more. I mean,
It's a great resource. Everyone working on that is definitely.
Think of the time he puts into that. I don't know if he's making money off it or whatever, but in my eyes, he's a real great website. And if you guys don't know this, if you're watching this and you're not sure what Nod Tools is, go to nodtools.com. It's made by Dare, one of the OGs of Noditis. Great guy. Check it out. It has all your Noditis needs. I'm getting good at doing ads. But all right, then, Chris. I think a lot of people will respect you coming on, and it's a great service we provide here on NodCast. People know who you are now. They know where you stand. They know what you look like. And I think that goes a long way in Noditis. And I think this is good for our relationship.
So,
I think we need a few more sit-downs, you know what I'm saying, Chris? But I think we're on the path to recovery here. We're going to hug after the show. All right? Who's throwing those goddamn tomatoes? Don't you... I'm going to move it to your side, Chris. It's supposed to be random. And when I set it up, it covers both the screens, but I don't know if they're aiming this shit or what. But whatever. With that, guys, this is NodCast, episode 16. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to the next show. Again, we're going to be having a bonus stream this week with some solid theories on the princess. I just need time to formulate them. This is Browser Game God signing off. Everybody have a good night and sleep tight.